in Rockford, Illinois for the 31st time. Welcome inside the Cherry Bowl. We're here for the finals of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. Today's competition begins with last week's third-place finisher, Marianne Dirupo, taking on the reigning Player of the Year, Michelle Feldman. The winner of that match will then face U.S. Open champ, Kelly Kulick. The victor there moves up the ladder to meet 11-time champion Liz Johnson, and the winner of that match tries to stop last week's champ, Tiffany Stanbrough, from making it 2 in a row. And we apologize for the technical difficulties we were having. The ladies have started this match. They're through 1.5 frames right now. And here's a look at the current score. Feldman trails by 3. Marianne Dirupo now steps up with that 3-pin lead in the second frame. Michelle Feldman had a washout the first frame, spared it up. Marianne was our 5th place qualifier, and Carolyn, the lane's a little difficult at this point in time.
Yes, I spoke to both ladies before we started. Marianne said there's a lot more hook in the front part of the lane, that she will be using probably a ball that she used at night on the left lane and a ball that she used in her morning block on the right lane. What we had this week was a little more push through the front part of the lane, not that much hook, a lot of hang to the right, and we'll see what happens.
I'm Jan Schmidt along with Carolyn Doran Ballard. Marianne now looking to get an early double, but there you see it.
Marianne and Michelle both forced to play much further left than they played until the late in the night block. Here we see she's way left, setting the ball down around 25, getting it way out to 7-8. It never makes it back, and she leaves the rail.
Tries to hook it. And gets a break off the wall to kick out the 4-pin.
Barely getting to the left side of the head pin. A little help from the old 7-pin there to trip out the 4.
Michelle Feldman, 10 years on tour. She goes over Brooklyn and carries the strike.
We're bowling on an old wood surface. We used Prodigy oil this week with 30.86 milliliters. We went 35 feet. And the new Prodigy lane oil is the best elements of offense and defense oil. However, it is not a combination of both of them. And what it does is it takes the best characteristics of each oil and they put them in a mixture. I'm going to finish to say before she let that shot go.
Well, she took advantage of the Brooklyn and hit the pocket to double to take the lead by 7 pins. Now it may be that we'll find Carolyn a lot of transition and carry down as they get going in this match.
We're gonna find a lot of transition. The topography of the lane here really had a lot to do with how the girls played the lanes. It's an old wood surface, like I said. It has Guardian on it, full-length Guardian, which is an overlay on the surface, which is a protective coating once the lanes get to a certain point. And what that does is it changes the way the lanes play pair to pair.
So what does topography mean?
It means what is on the lane, the lane
how
surface
level,
itself.
How level the lane is.
How level the lane is. Every little indentation or mark you see on the lane is part of the topography of the lane. It's its memory.
And it affects the way the bowling balls react.
It has an effect on everything, the way the balls roll, where you have to play. And honestly, it also makes a difference on what happens on the back end.
Marianne Dirupo now trailing by 8 pins.
Carry. Yes.
Big strike for Marianne.
Much better shot by Marianne. Didn't get it as far right.
Well, the PWBA reigning player of the year, Michelle Feldman, has been nominated for an ESPY in the best bowler category, along with Walter Ray Williams Jr., Chris Barnes, and Norm Duke. This year, the fans make the call, so go to pwba.com and place your vote. Congratulations to Michelle Feldman. Coming up light, 3 in a row, and Carolyn, you know a little bit about the ESPY nomination as we
throw and pray.
Michelle changed balls on this lane. Got a ball that got down the lane, rolled up, set for her. She got a light hit, taking advantage of that first Brooklyn she got. And that's what you need to do, turn it into a triple. And as for the ESPY, everyone needs to vote for Michelle and get out there because it is a great opportunity. And I'm proud of her. I hope she has a great experience like I did.
Well, was the nominee last year and really deserved to win, however, didn't. So Michelle now on 4 in a row. And she leads by 28 pins. Marianne can take it back to 18 with a strike here. Marianne making back-to-back telecasts here.
Hurry, hurry.
Called for it to hurry. Didn't quite make it. 2-4-5.
There's that out of bounds we were talking about to the right. If you get the ball to a certain point on the lane, it's just not going to recover. And we saw a lot of 2-4-5s. Then when it did recover, if you missed a little left, you saw a lot of 4 pins. It was a very tough shot this week, and you really had to be on the top of your game.
Well, she told us spare shooting on the left side was a problem for her.
Hook a lot.
Opting to throw her straight ball at the 2-4-5.
The championship round finals of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 88 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Brunswick, the pin of choice for the PWBA national events. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. Marianne now in the 7th frame and crossing over, barely touching the head pin, leaving an unusual spare for a right-hander.
There's one of the things we just talked about. She missed a little bit left in her lay-down point. If you see her projection was not as far right as the last shot. Missed a little bit left. Ball takes off right on the back end. They seem to be hooking a lot more in the front part of the lane and in the middle part of the lane.
She shoots it with her spare ball, but only takes 1. Michelle Feldman, meanwhile, seems to have found a solution to the lanes, but she can oftentimes do that when other bowlers can't because of the power and revolution she creates.
And she talked a lot about that. She doesn't really like to change balls. She rather move on the lane. She feels more comfortable doing that, and she says she can get into less trouble doing that.
Over 6-10, and as you saw when the averages came up, these ladies had actually low averages for making a TV show, and on this pair, 187 for Michelle Feldman, very, very low, and Marianne Dirupo, 180 on this pair, the 2 lowest averages of the 5 on the pair.
Especially last night, the scores on the low end were very low. Low end, I think it was fitting. Low end, low scores. So they were very, very tricky the whole week on the low end, but last night they really went down.
Michelle now in the lead by 39. As we move on, though, you'll see that the other ladies carried a considerably higher average on this TV pair. Doesn't mean it will hold true today, but
no. Michelle defeated Marianne in match play.
She's right there, actually. As long as she gets it right, she has enough. You asked her last night, could she go around it even in the morning, and she said yes.
Yes, she said, yes, I could go around them, but her around them was, when she really goes around the lane, it's like 30-10, you know, I mean, way around them. Her front, she really was not bellying it as much as she usually does, but it's still going around them for Michelle. She could create something no one else could.
Push.
She was asking for push, and a 3-6-10. She really has nothing right now. Marianne had a really good look, actually, all week. I bowled this week and qualified with her, and she just didn't carry the first round, but had a good shot to the pocket.
Ball snapping right through the middle of the pins. She'll change to her spare ball that goes straight, shoots right at it.
Hook.
It slid by. We talked about it being her second show in the row, though, and she talked about the faster start this season.
Well, usually I do make the cuts in the beginning of the year, but my shows don't usually consist until the summer and the spring. I think this year my practice routine was a little bit different. I specifically practiced on sports patterns and sports conditions, had people come practice with me to break down. Also, the equipment I'm on track staff has really been beneficial to me on the patterns that we've been bowling on. So I think with the combination, it's really helped me.
Well, it's helped her to get to this point, not helping her today as she trails by 50 pins. Michelle Feldman stepping up in the 9th. And I'll take a moment as we missed the top of the show to wish a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We're glad you're with us. Michelle hitting the nose now, but well in the lead in this match. And also to let you know that the Women's International Bowling Congress has agreed to advance sponsorship dollars that will allow the tour to continue on schedule throughout this summer, and that negotiations are continuing for the best future for the tour, and we'll let you know as that progresses. But Carolyn, I know all of us affiliated with PWBA want to extend our gratitude to WIBC.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
thank you. We love the support of the WIBC, and we love supporting them. They've done a lot for us, and we hope to have a long and lasting relationship with them.
Well, Michelle's up in the 10th and needs just one pin to take this match. That's a nice position to be in. And she almost tried not to get that pin. But she did. So Michelle Feldman wins the opener over Marianne Dirupo. Don't have the final score yet. We'll let you know. But first, when we come back, we honor some award recipients. Welcome back to Rockford, Illinois, the home of the PWBA. We're at the Cherry Bowl for the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with Carolyn Doran-Ballard. We just completed the opening match, and the powerful Michelle Feldman took that match with a 210 to Dirupo's 172. Just talked to you about WIBC, and they recently paid tribute to some very special people. Let's meet them in this week's WIBC Extra Frames. Down there warming up, but we'll be right back with match 2. Michelle Feldman will take on the 2001 Rookie of the Year, Kelly Kulick. Welcome back to the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois for the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. I'm Jan Schmidt along with Carolyn Doran-Ballard. We've just completed match 2. Michelle Feldman continues to move up. She defeats Kulick 167 to 160. And I'm sure on this Father's Day, we all remember special moments with our dads. Our athletes talk about theirs in this week's PWBA Out Loud. Stay with us for the semifinal match. Michelle Twister Sister Feldman will challenge the 2001 Rockford champ, Liz Johnson. We're ready for the semifinal match of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. Liz Johnson will start the match. She qualified second. She'll be taking on Michelle Feldman, who's been climbing the ladder.
Here's where you'll see two different styles. Liz, the hard thrower. She looks at the foul line, gets that ball down the lane, and then there's Michelle, the ultimate power player.
Shot.
Nice opening shot, leaving a 10-pin.
Liz said they hooked more for her when she started the practice session. They've tamed down just a little bit. She said, but the middle of the lane still hooks more for her than it did all week.
This is her first TV appearance of 2003. Hasn't been that long, though. She made a show last fall. Uh-oh.
Nice way to start a game.
Well, she'll let us know.
Exactly. Not how you want to start it. And all she can do is sit down and shake her head. We've all been there.
Michelle's coming out with a different game plan this game. She went to a stronger ball to try and play the out of bounds.
Hey, she's happy, though. I think she's happy. She hit the pocket, figured that lane out. She'll take it right now. Covers that spare up. Happy to have covered it. The College Baseball World Series continues on ESPN immediately following our telecast as LSU takes on South Carolina from Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. Then later tonight, catch Game 6 on ESPN2 at 7 p.m. For more information on the College World Series, log on to ESPN.com. Michelle defeated Liz during the week. It was a close match. Just 10 pins, and now a split 2-4-10.
Oh, she moved right, threw it a little bit harder, but it just never recovered. Now on the left lane, everyone who got the ball a little further right had a little more hang on the left lane. So let's see what she does on her. Look at that.
She has really been converting
3 splits.
Yes.
Change to her spare ball, hits the left side of the pin, knocks it right over into the 10. That was one of the things Liz said she did great this week. She says, I made some splits that were really crucial in matches.
Yeah, because you left them. Leaving the 3 pin, going up.
Relax.
She's told herself to relax. And again, even though we haven't had that many tournaments this year, I guess if you look at the time frame, it's been 6-7 months since she's been on a show.
Hey, good spare.
Well, the PWBA continues on the road next week. The destination, the Super Bowl in Erlanger, Kentucky, with the finals airing next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then it's off to Mechanicsburg, PA, and ABC West Lanes. Visit the event and then watch the final Sunday, June 29th at 1 p.m. Then they head southwest to Memphis, Tennessee as they visit Winchester Bowl. And we'll be there for the first time as Liz leaves another 10 pin. And you can tune into that show on July 6th for all the final 5 action.
Now here's the difference in the 2 games. The people that were going more away from the head pin have hang on the left lane, and Liz has hit the pocket twice on the left lane. Playing it a little further right, a little more direct.
So right now Feldman up by 9 because she picked up that split in the second frame. First woman to bowl a 300 on TV. I don't know if we'll see one today. She takes the 4th pin on the right lane, but I do want to do it on this Father's Day. I know the PWBA athlete staff and production crew extend our sympathies to our producer Jim Townsend and his family on the recent loss of his father George Townsend, and we just want to let you know, JT, our prayers are with you. Michelle hits the pocket twice in a row, has both lanes with this change of ball. It seems to have worked great for her. She leads by 19. Liz Johnson stepping up in the 4th frame. And she wanted to definitely wish a happy Father's Day to her dad, Conrad, and her grandpa. It's Poppy Tato. It's also his 90th birthday. Happy birthday. Wow. Messenger didn't do his job on that shot.
Comes in light on the right lane, sends a pin across, but goes right in front of the 10 pin.
She applauds herself as she spares that up and trails by 20. Liz talked about what a grind it was all week and that it was a matter of making spares for her, but she prefers that. A tough condition and a spare shooting condition. Right now, if they were all to strike out, Liz Johnson could shoot 247. That's her maximum score. Michelle Feldman, 277. Liz down a bit in average this year. So through 4.5 frame, Michelle Feldman leads by 20 in the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. We'll be right back with more. We're back at Michelle Feldman just stepping off the approach. She left a split in the 6th frame. 3-6, 8-10, an unusual leave. Took 2 of the pins. So right now, Liz Johnson back in the lead. Excuse me, not in the lead unless she strikes here. She trails by 3. If she strikes, she'll have the lead by 7.
Come on.
I was predicting that as she now is the leader by 7 pins through 6 frames.
Here's a look at Liz on the left lane. More direct. This is where she played basically all week, up 6, 7, 8. And even though Michelle is further left, her break point, she gets the ball out to 7, 8. Just didn't make it back. She also throws it a little, when you're throwing a little bit harder through the break point, that's what happens, split. Shot.
10 pin for Liz Johnson, but it's interesting to see how different people get to that same area, same break point from different places.
I can tell you, if Michelle's bowling good, I go over and watch her bowl. I just want to see where her ball is hooking from. If I see she gets her ball to 7 and there's her hook spot, I know I need to be somewhere around 7, 8.
That's a good tip for people at home to try to line up off of someone who doesn't throw the ball like they do.
No, the way you throw the ball has nothing to do with who you should watch. It's if they're bowling well, you need to see where is that hook spot.
Feldman now trailing by 6 in the 7th frame. Trying to get the championship match again in Rockford, as she has the last 2 years.
Softened up her speed just a little bit. Ball comes back light. She told me, because that last match, she did try to throw it harder. She said, that's not the way I need to go. So when she went to the stronger ball, she slowed up her speed a little bit, trying to let the ball do the work.
And a double from Michelle Feldman. And we're going to have lead changes going on here back and forth as Michelle Feldman just took over the lead by 4 pins. Liz Johnson won here in 2001. She qualified second that time and thought it might be a good omen for this year. She could be the 3rd repeat champion here in 31 years. Amazing, after all those years, Carolyn, only 2 bowlers have won twice here, and that was Lori Nichols and Lisa Wagner.
See, I don't find that very amazing because I think the carry here is very tough. But you're right. In all those years with all the great bowlers that have come through, it does amaze me that there's only been 2 people able to do it.
And Marianne had that opportunity as well earlier. As you saw there, she won in 1997, but didn't get through our opening match. Okay, so Liz trails by 6, stepping up in the 9th. 96 Rookie of the Year.
After the last match, I did believe that Liz or Tiffany would probably have the best look. They were going a little more direct towards the head pin, but Michelle, of course, wants to prove me wrong.
Of course.
And with the ball change, she's creating herself something.
She is, and she can do that, as we've talked about, probably better than anyone else if she gets lined up and gets the right ball quick enough.
Liz could be experiencing a little carry down in her area. Although they're tighter to the right, she is playing the out of bounds, and she now could be carrying it down just a little bit, which is causing her ball not to react as hard on the back.
Myself a heart attack.
Worried about giving herself a heart attack. Covers that spare up, and Michelle Feldman now up by 8. She could take it to 18 through 9 if she strikes here, which would be the same lead she had in an earlier match. Don't forget 187 average, but that was prior to tonight. Going up high, 310. You can tell, I mean, it's so frustrating right now for these ladies. And
good.
she'll try and put the ball right between, actually hit both pins, not between them. Just like that.
Changes to her spare ball, shoots right at it, makes it 310.
Oh, boy.
cross lane right at it. Great spare, because that was not an easy one to make this week either.
So she leads by 6 as she steps up in the 10th. She could shut out Liz Johnson. She needs a double, though. Oh, and thankful that the 2-pin fell out.
Hits that hang spot again on the right lane. Ball comes in light, but she gets a break and knocks out the 2.
Headpin doing its job off the wall. Here's the spare up. Done a very good job at covering all of her spares this match. She had that one open in the 6th frame, a split.
Well, spare shooting was very important this week. There were a lot of games people bowled 170, 180 clean just because they never doubled. She said one of her weaknesses was spare shooting. She said, I would have been in the show if I had made half my spares. So I'm sure she's taking a little bit of extra time on the show tonight.
Okay, pin count could be important as she finishes out with a 197. Liz Johnson will now need a double and 6 pins to win this match.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I think Liz is going to hit the pocket. She's going to fire it and definitely hit the pocket.
Well, she's only struck once on this lane the entire match.
Come on.
Oh, you were right, Carolyn. Definitely fired it to the pocket, but the 10-pin didn't fall. So carry continues to be a problem, and Michelle Feldman defeats Liz Johnson and will advance to the championship match. But first, when we return, a fan's question will be answered. Final score of the semifinal match, Michelle Feldman 197 to Liz Johnson's 186. We thank you again for sending in your questions. This week's BowlersParadise.com Ask the Pro question came from Carl Vitek of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Carl asked, how much of your... To send in your question, go to PWBA.com and click on the BowlersParadise.com Ask the Pro button. Coming up next, Michelle Feldman continues to climb that ladder and will try to apply the brakes to last week's champ, Tiffany Stanbrough. Stay tuned for the championship match at the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. We're ready for the championship match. Michelle Feldman. Carolyn has climbed the ladder, though it was a very unstable ladder. She's made it to the top. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with Carolyn Doran-Ballard and Michelle. Wow, it's been a rocky road.
One thing that's kept Michelle in the match has been the point that she's made some nasty splits.
Exactly.
She's made some phenomenal spare shots when she's had to. And really, that's what you need to do.
Now, Tiffany Stanbrough, top seed last week, won last week, 2 for 2 from the top seed. How much of an advantage will she have being the only one on the left side?
I'm not really sure right now because she's using a ball she hasn't used all week. She's moved further left than she's had to play. What she feels is, because of all the hook that's in the middle part of the lane, she wants to be left of it and not hit any of it. So she went to a stronger ball, but with a weaker drilling to allow her to get left. Another example, too, of the topography of the lane. You know, it's going to tell you where you have to play, and there's less play on the left, so that surface is a lot more fresh.
This is her second consecutive appearance, and it's the first time she's ever made back-to-back shows. She told us a little while ago. So Michelle Feldman will have her work cut out for her. It looks like Tiffany has a good line to the pocket.
I'd like to wish my father-in-law, Del Ballard Sr., Happy Father's Day.
Big strike from Michelle Feldman. Next week, the PWBA hits the halfway mark of the swing as it visits Burlingame, Kentucky for the first time. Tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern for the finals of the Greater Cincinnati Open from the Super Bowl. That's 1 p.m. right here on ESPN. And can this be the same event we've been watching. Both ladies starting with strikes. 3 in a row now for Michelle Feldman.
Well, we've had some games bowled on the pair. Could have a little carry down. And you know what? Michelle was the first one to move a little right, create herself a little something. And you know what? This is the result.
Tiffany defeated Michelle during the week, 209 to 180.
Yeah!
And Messenger takes out the 7 pin.
Tiffany coming in just a little light, but sends a Messenger off the side across to hit out the 7.
She's going for back-to-back titles for the first time in her career after winning 2 out of the last 3 events last season. Titles among the finalists.
Yeah!
And I can't even believe this. We've started with 7 strikes. Michelle Feldman is determined not to be second for the 3rd year in a row in Rockford.
They wanted to prove us wrong. They want to get that 300 on TV.
Rips the 4th pin. And Michelle talked to us a little while ago about some good news she received, basically the ESPYs.
Tell us about it.
Well, I got nominated this week for the Best Bowler Award for the ESPYs, and hopefully I can win this award. So I need everybody to please go to ESPN.com or PWBA.com and vote for me to win.
So you can go to PWBA.com and vote. There's a poll right there on the home page. And she is pumped. She wants this both ladies striking.
This is a prime example of how Michelle has matured in her game and in herself. She knows what she's supposed to do. 4 years ago, she probably would have never moved right. She moved right, made the change. This is what's a true champion.
Yeah. And Tiffany's answering the call. The front 5 out of both bowlers.
Prime example of what a little confidence can do for you. Tiffany has the possibility of winning 4 out of the last 7 tournaments. That has got to take you to another level. She's learned more about her game, her equipment, and what she can do.
Oh, it's got to hurry.
If it fell back, could have taken the 5 pin out.
Looks like she missed a little left on this shot, got a little bit further out, and the ball quite didn't make it up the hill. Almost got a break on that one.
There's that one up.
Shaking her head, kicking her foot.
Exactly.
She said one thing she did not really do well this week was her spares were iffy. Didn't know whether to throw the strike ball, didn't know whether to throw the spare ball, so she's very glad to get that frame out of the way.
So Michelle Feldman with a high game at 279 has the front 5. Crosses over. Almost Brooklyn, leaving the 3-6-10.
Oh, boy. This could have got it right.
She said something like, at least you could have gotten it right.
She definitely missed left on that shot. She let us know about it. Especially with Michelle, it's easy to see whether she misses left or right.
Some of the other finishers this week, Rachel Perez made 3 out of the last 4 cuts. Anne-Marie Dugan always in the top 24. There's Lisa Bishop, 2 of the last 3 shows she's made.
Maxine Nabel coming into her game, had some friends over from Australia this week. And Paulina Alto, one of our international players, over full-time.
Saw Carrie Schwager there in the afternoon, another cut. Michelle leaving the 4-7. Extend a great big hello and a happy Father's Day to all the fathers overseas, and thank them for everything they're doing. And we're being watched on the American Forces Radio and Television Services. It services 179 countries and U.S. ships at sea. Coming up to 4-7. So right now, it's a very close match, a 3-pin match. Tiffany Stanbrough in the lead by 3, looking to win that 2nd consecutive title in a possible 4 out of 7. And Carolyn, you know what that's like.
Another great shot by Tiffany. One thing I can tell you, 2001, great year for me. I became very comfortable with where I was playing, what I was doing with my equipment, and that's what I see out of Tiffany. She's been able to play the same part of the lane. She's been very comfortable. She's learned how to control it. And you know what? That builds your confidence. That's why she's here.
Well, she leads by 3. She could take it to 13 with a strike, and she had that 228 average on this page.
Yeah, yeah!
And she still likes this pair.
She went light on this lane last time. Actually got that one still a little left, but this time, ball makes the move, blows the rack. She likes the reaction, too.
There's Michelle right back on it. If she gets to the right, she has a good shot.
Michelle's not going to go down without a fight.
Well, she trails by 13 pins. She'll need to strike here to get it back down to 3.
I'd like to wish Lauren Feltz, my and Dell's niece, on a happy high school graduation. Sorry we weren't there, but we were very proud of her.
Oh, going high, 3-6.
Shaking her head, got it in just a little bit. Still not enough hold down the lane. Leaves the 3-6, changes balls.
Okay, she covers that spare, and Michelle Feldman has to be thinking, I can't be second 3 years in a row in the same bowling center. She lost to Liz Johnson in 2001, and in the doubles event with April Ellis last year, they lost to Kendra Gaines and Melissa Brownie.
Well, I'm going to live on the edge here and say that if Michelle were not to win today, it's probably not the last time we're going to see her on the telecast either.
Probably safe with that.
Oh.
The championship round finals of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 88 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By BowlersParadise.com, the official online pro shop of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. Tiffany now up in the 10th frame, and another strike. She has really wrapped up this competition. Just picture perfect every shot.
She bowled very consistent this week. She said she had basically the same look pair to pair. She juggled within 3 balls, and it paid off. She stayed calm. She took game after game, and here she is, champion again.
She's glancing over at the score and asking, is it over? Kind of anticlimactic, as she's needed to double last time to win. That spare and shoots an incredible 266. So Tiffany Stanbrough captures back-to-back titles, both from the top seed position. As she gets the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. Stay with us. The final score of that championship match of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic, Tiffany Stanbrough 266 to Michelle Feldman's 241. So in an event that went back and forth, low scoring throughout the championship match, well, they showed they were both fighting for that championship with a huge score. There's a look at Tiffany Stanbrough, the winner of the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic, with Darlene Baker, WIBC director, presenting her with the check. Final score, 266-241, as I said. There's a look at the beautiful trophy, the Pepsi bowling ball encased in glass. So Tiffany Stanbrough makes it career title number 4. She has now won 4 of the last 7 events. Tune in next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern for the finals of the Greater Cincinnati Open from the Super Bowl in Erlanger, Kentucky. For Carolyn Doran Ballard, I'm Jan Schmidt, wishing all the dads a wonderful Father's Day. Until next week, stay safe. So long from Rockford, Illinois, where Tiffany Stanbrough captures the Pepsi Greater Rockford Classic. Up next, the NCAA College World Series. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.